Hi, sixth graders. Welcome to Halacha class for Thursday. Before we continue, I want to give a little background to what today's lesson is going to be. So just a heads up, we are in the yellow Kitzur Shulchan Aruch packets, specifically about Sefirat, Siman Kuf Chaf, and we're going to skip over Seif Hey today, and we're just going to start with Seif Vav. So you're on page 3 with Seif Vav. A little bit of history about what Sefirat is, because it's not necessarily written out in the Kitzur Shulchan Aruch, so just a little for you guys. Here we go. So Sefirat is not actually the mitzvah of counting. Originally, the mitzvah was to bring a special korban, an offering, every day for the 49 days between Pesach and Shavuos. What was this offering? It was an offering of grain, right, to show that the early grains, the early harvest was blooming and it was ready to be given. And it was a way of showing thank you to Hashem. How much was given? The volume of what they gave, the amount that they gave, was called an HaOmer, kind of like, a liter, an ounce in English. So we have an HaOmer in Hebrew or biblical measurements. And that's why it's called Sefirat HaOmer, the counting of the Omer. Because every day when they would bring that korban, so normally we think of korban as an animal, this was a grain korban. When they would bring that offering to the Beit HaMikdash, what would happen? They would say, today is the first day of the bringing of the Omer. Today is the second day of the bringing of the Omer. Now that we don't have the Beit HaMikdash, instead of actually bringing a handful of grain, we just count instead. So that's really what Sefirat HaOmer is. That's the mitzvah, to bring this korban every day. It just so happens that later on in Jewish history, during this time of year, something else happened that then became associated with Sefirat HaOmer. Well, let's take a look at Seif Vav together. Here we are. Seif Vav, page 3. B'yamei HaSefira, during this time of Sefira, Metu Talmidei Rabbi Akiva Belamed Gimel Yom. The students, the Talmidim of Rabbi Akiva, he was a Tana, which means he lived during the time of the Mishnah. Very good. The students of Rabbi Akiva, Metu, they died for 33 days. Lamed Gimel is Gematria for 33. V'lachein, and therefore, no hagin. The shorish of no hagin is nun hey gimel, the same shorish as the word minhag. We have a minhag, or a custom, biyamim elu, in these times, kitzat avelut, to behave a little bit kitzat as if we are in avelus. Avelus is the body of assesses how you behave when someone in the family dies. The word for it is mourning, mourn. And there's a whole lot of halachot to behave. But some people say talking about sitting shiva. There's laws for 7 days of mourning. Then there's laws for the first 30 days of mourning. And then there's laws for the whole first year of mourning. And there's all different laws. Not all of them have different laws. Some do. Specifically, the Kitzur Shulchan Aruch tells us, she'ein nosin nashim, you do not get married. Ve'ein mistaprin, and we do not cut our hair or shave our shave for men. Right? These are two mourning practices or behaviors that are adopted, that we have a custom to do during Sefirat. Why? Because one of Rabbi Akiva's students died. Now, normally, Avelos is only observed by immediate family members. However, all of Bnei Yisrael have the mitzvah to keep. Number one, so many Talmidim died, so many Talmidei Chachamim died. And number two, all of the Torah that they could have then taught to the next generation also disappeared. So we're very sad about that loss of Torah that no longer was in the world when I died. Good. Now, this is a lot. There are two different practices. There's two different ways or customs of how do we observe these 30 days of mourning, right? We're not mourning the entire 49 days, only for 30 days and 49. And there's two different customs about which of the 33 days it is. So in this going to learn the first practice, the more common one, and then in terms of it, we'll learn the next practice, the second practice. You sometimes hear people referring to it as you're observing, keeping the first half of Sefira versus the second half of Sefira. But this is what we that. So let's read on about the first version. V'yesh chiluke minhagim, and there's a difference of chiluke, like the word machlokas, the difference of opinion. There is a difference in the customs, b'mispar lamed gimel yom ha'elef, for how we count the number, which of the 33 days it is. Yesh mekomot nohagin, there are some places that have the minhag, shechushvinotam, that we calculate them, miyom rishon desfira, from the first day of Sefira, which is the second night of Pesach. V'lachein osrin ad lag ba'omer. And so therefore, if you're counting 33 days from the first day of Sefira, you're just counting days 1 through 33 Sefira, and you keep these practices, behaviors of mourning until lag ba'omer, the 33rd day of the Omer. What happens when the 33rd day comes? We're done behaving. We are in the morning. Sorry, we're not up to that part yet. I jumped ahead. However, kishachal rosh chodesh iyar b'Shabbat. Now, if you do keep this first half of Sefira, what is always going to show up within those first 33 days? Rosh chodesh iyar, the beginning of the iyar. So Rosh chodesh iyar is a happy time because Rosh Chodesh, we say, is like a mini holiday. And sometimes Rosh Chodesh can fall out on Shabbos. And if it just so happens that one year Rosh Chodesh is on Shabbos, there's great thing there. The Yesh Bo Shdei Kedushot. There's two levels of Kedusha that are now combining together on this Chodesh that is during the first 33 days of Sefira. What are these two Kedushot? Kedusha Shabbos, Kedusha Rosh Chodesh. And because there's a double Kedusha, it sort of overrides, it overpowers the morning practices of the first things. It didn't happen this year, but when it does happen, as Matirin Lisa, you are allowed to get married then on that time of Rosh Chodesh, which also is Shabbos. Then he's there. Also, the haircut, you can't get a haircut on Shabbos. You do that Erev Shabbos, right? You do it Friday afternoon or Thursday night. So even though it's not Rosh Chodesh yet, it's Erev Rosh Chodesh, and there's a kind of specialness to that as well. Well, that's a very unique case. Now we get to what happens after you've kept 30-day morning practice, and you come to Omer for 33 days. So what happens when we're done? Ubiyon lag ba'omer, on the 33th Omer, v'chein misham va'ilech, and from that point onwards, permitted, you are allowed to get a haircut and to get married. Mipnei shebiyom lag ba'omer, because on the 33rd day of the Omer, pasku milamut, the students stopped dying. Lag ba'omer was the last day of dying. Therefore, a little bit, right? There's a little bit of simcha to that day. And how do we show that there's some kind of simcha to that day? In Shacharit. That's what usually comes right after Shemona Esrei, or on days that we read the Torah, Monday and Thursday. It's the longer version. It comes after Torah reading. It's what we say our heads down. I didn't have a chance to bet in our tefillah class. I was gonna get to it, but we'll hopefully you'll be able to learn about it in due time. And Tachanun is a tefillah that we do not say on Chol HaMoed, on Shabbos, on Yom Tov, when there is a groom, a chatan, during his week of Shava Brachot. He also, the entire minyan won't say Shava Brachot, right? So Tachanun is usually associated with a regular day, but if there's something extra special, extra simcha on that day, then we don't say Tachanun. And therefore, to show that we have a little bit of simcha, on Lag BaOmer, when the students of Rabbi Akiva also continuing on, and even though some of them were still dying on that day, Amrinan, we say, and this is a very important halachic principle that I want you to write down in the Hebrew next to this in your notes. Miktzat hayom kechulo. We believe, we hold that a little bit of the day is like the whole day. If a little bit of the day is like being bisimcha, happy, then the whole day can be considered like that. And vice versa. If a little bit of the day is sad, then we try to keep all of the day as sad. So what do you do here? You have a clashing of ideas. So we find a middle ground and we sort of split it down the middle. What do we do on Lag BaOmer, which is a little bit sad, a little bit happy? Therefore, the ability to get married or cut your hair, which shows that you're no longer in mourning, you don't do that you do it till the late or times. So next Omer, you still shouldn't cut your hair or get married, but by daytime, then you can switch over into the happiness of it. However, there's an exception. Kishachal Lag BaOmer, when Lag BaOmer falls out, happens biyom rishon, on Sunday, meaning it starts Saturday night, Motzei Shabbos, into Sunday. You go straight from the happiness of the to Lag BaOmer. You are allowed in that case, mistaprin be'erev Shabbat shelefanav. You can shave and cut your hair on Erev Shabbos, which is why are you allowed to do that? L'chvod HaShabbos, in honor of Shabbos, to make yourself look nice and presentable for Shabbos. Immediately after that, all morning practice will be gone. This is the version of counting Sefirat, the first 33 days of the Omer. The halachot and the minhag still applies. Just that you're counting through 33 Omer, there are interesting elements like ER pops up and Lag BaOmer coming right after Shabbos. All right, please answer questions 17 through 23. That's on pages 3 and 4 of your packet. Pause the video here and we'll look afterwards and answer together. All right, now that you've done these questions, let's take a look at the answers together. Question 17, why is there a custom to observe practices of mourning during the Sefirat period? Because we're mourning for the students of Rabbi Akiva who died during this time. Actually, we're mourning. 18, therefore, 3 days of Omer is not to get married and cut your hair. We behave a little bit as if we are mourning. 19, when does period ends and why on this day? So the first, the normal custom, the one that we learned in this seif, it ends on the 33rd day of the Omer, because this is when the students of Rabbi Akiva die. On Lag BaOmer, to show that we are happy, what is not recited on that day? Tachanun, because it's like a holiday. Okay, I know it says it lost connection, but I think it's still recording. And we're back. 21. Why are we allowed to celebrate when some of Rabbi Akiva's students died on that day? And this is that very reference of Miktzat hayom kekulo. That some of the day is like the whole day. Some of the day is happy because they stopped dying. And so we the whole day as it's with Alyssa. We don't cut our hair, get married until the daytime of Lag BaOmer and onwards, because some of the day is also still sad. So we split it down the middle, treat the night like we're in mourning, and treat the day like you're happy. And finally, 23, when Lag BaOmer falls out on Sunday, one may get a haircut on Erev Shabbat to show kavod and honor to Shabbos. All right. Next class, we will continue with a little bit more details on the second minhag and what to do if you're not sure which minhag to keep, which 33 days you should treat like Sefirat. It's not mentioned here in the Hilchot. One thing important to note is that if you do keep the first half of Sefirat, the first 33 days, 7 of those days are going to be Pesach, right? 7 are going to be following the end of Pesach. And because of that, you actually don't have to keep mourning practices then. And this is, so if you do keep the first half of Sefirat, the first days you still wedding Pesach, you'd have to be a little crazy to make a wedding on Pesach, but you can. All right, I'll see you in the next lesson.